Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. I've actually made a couple videos, I just completely spaced off uploading them, so we're going to play catch up here. Those were all update videos anyway, so we're just going to do one bigger update video. Drew's bike is gone. I'll insert a couple pictures here. So that bike, completely assembled in 2 days. Drew drove down here, put it together, got it out the door. It did wind up getting one of my engines in it, so I still have his engine over here. And we will do a video tearing that whole thing down and figuring out what was the root problem with that motor. Because it has a dead miss on one cylinder, and I never did figure out why. I just got crunched on time, and I had a crate motor that was just a little higher compression, same brand pistons, same rods, same trans, same everything, in a crate in storage, so that went in there. So I'll just rebuild that one, put it back in my crate. That was supposed to be my motor. It was supposed to be my big turbo motor, but whatever. Anyway, Rob's new stalker, no longer Dennis's, this is paid off, ready to go, is tuned. When I first dynoed this bike coming out of the basement, it made 150 horsepower. It was what I used to calibrate the dyno. So on the same calibration, everything the same. This now makes 162. It has small box mod, short stacks, slip-ons, and a tune now, and it's been updated to 32-bit, obviously, to have the tune. Rob's white bike, I just buttoned that one up today. God, you're not going to get a good view. He's got his Sidewinder on there, wrapped, looking exactly like it did before. The only thing that differentiates it from before, the red's gone there, and it's got an air filter hanging out the side. But it is at a nice up angle, so he's got a good lean angle to this side. Not so grand to the other, but good. This bike is a blast. First gear wants to spin, probably because of the compound of the tire, but it will probably wheelie once he puts a tire on there that is speed rated and a little softer, because this thing's harder than freaking concrete. It made 232 on the dyno. Second gear, it carries the front tire about an inch or two off the ground all the way through the gear and into third, and then settles down in fourth and just hauls. It is a blast. Chris Charles, wheels are out at Longshore right now. I'm waiting for a front tire to come in, but Chris has informed me he's waiting for a baby to be born. So congratulations to him here shortly. Once the baby's born and he's settled in, he can come down and we'll put body work on. We'll do the same thing I did with Drew. He'll come down, spend a couple days, we'll put body work on, let him ride it a little bit, and then he can take her home. Drew's bike did wind up getting my slider clutch, well, Amos's slider clutch. He went ahead and bought that from Amos. And it is set up on time-based boost control. He has decided it is going to be a race bike. So it has an excessively good tune, which is great. It's nice to have. And he can always set up that hand slider as a live clutch. See. Currently working on the Bandit over here. So the Bandit had a miss. Had a rather fouled out plug. Mildly fouled out plug, and then these two looked freaking great. These are actually lean because it was globally measuring lean. So we're going to go ahead and put bigger jets in there. I went ahead and adjusted the valves. The exhaust valves were all out of whack. We now have nice level compression across the board. I'm going to run down to my storage, the Mickey Mouse gaskets. Any of y'all old Bandit followers know what those are. Got shredded coming out. It's kind of typical when they haven't been out for a while. So I got spare Mickey Mouses in storage. I'll go grab a set of Mickey Mouses and throw on here, put the valve cover back on, and then I got to pull the carbs off and put the 160 mains in it, and it should be ready to rock and roll. We'll put it back up on the dyno, make sure it's running on all four, make sure it's decent through the power band. I don't need to move needles or adjust the pilots or change jets again. God forbid if I have to change jets again. Actually, it's not that bad. Not having an airbox makes it way easier. They just pop out, slide out the side, drop the bowls, screw the jets in, put the bowls back on. But I just got done with the valve adjustment on that. I'll get the Mickey Mouse gasket. Let's see. Let's work our way around. James Carroll's bike from the Northeast is up on the lift. Scotty's going to come over sometime in the next week or so and drop the motor out of this. We have springs, seals, gaskets to do the valve springs, and then the next part I have to deal with to get it up more to your level here. Hold on. Well, apparently the video cut off, so where we were at, up to your level here. He has a very large, I believe this is dash 10 line going to the turbo for the scavenge pump. We don't run that large of a line. You got to think of it like trying to suck a vacuum through a large pipe versus a small pipe. You're going to get a much stronger vacuum out of a smaller tube. So we will go down to dash 6. Also, you have to keep in mind that once this shuts off, it can bleed backwards. So you've got this huge volume of oil that can go back into the turbo and pool, and you will get raw oil pouring out the exhaust, which is one of his complaints. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and adapt this to dash 6. We will put a dash 6 check valve here, low pressure check valve. Ooh, you can see the oil coming out there. Yeah. So dash 6 check valve, part of it, and a large part of this, is that the turbo is actually lower than the oil pan on this bike. That is a bad thing. We're going to do everything we can to try and stop the backflow of oil into this thing, but no guarantee we're going to fix it all. But we will go to dash 6 with the check valve up to the scavenger pump, and that will solve a lot of problems. While we're in there, we'll check on the quality of the pistons, whether or not it's actually built. This is supposed to be a built motor, judging by the no spacer plate. Oh, it does have a spacer plate. Okay, it has an 80 spacer plate, so it probably does have tall deck like Wassner's in it. We'll see what we get when we get in there. I got to clean up the Ryan Schnitz harness mess that he has. I really dislike these harnesses. Boost by Smith is a much better option, much tidier, less spaghetti, but I'm going to clean that up. We've also got a 1-to-1 regulator over there. So what he was running was the factory 40 PSI regulator with no rising rate into the fuel rail deadhead. I'm not a fan of that, so what we're going to do is a return style. There is a port over here. We will hang a regulator off of that, and then we will have the feed the same. I'll probably just reuse his feed, which works just fine. And then we'll have a return line come out of there around and into the bottom of the pump here, or into a plate, probably a plate. That will allow the fuel pressure to rise as the boost rises, because you got to think of it as equal and opposite. For every pound of boost this way, you lose a pound of fuel pressure that way. So your injectors become less and less efficient would be the term, yeah. He has 60-pound upper injectors. Looks like he repinned these in nicely, so that's good. We'll go ahead and get this tuned out and ironed out. I'm going to fix some of these scotches he's got around here, get rid of them, tidy up the wiring, all that good jazz. But Scotty's going to come deal with most of the engine side of this. Let's see, where are we at from there? We're over here. Warren's bike. Motorhead has, his son is out of school, so his sleep schedule's been scrambled all up. We're going to be back at it here this coming week, it sounds like, so we can get the Max on here, the fuel system updated for flex fuel, and get this bike ready to rock and roll as well. This little Gixxer, I just need to tune this thing. I should just roll it over there and put it on the dyno. But he's not going to be able to pick it up for a while anyway, due to personal circumstances. And the Hyperbusa. Everyone wants to know about the Hyperbusa killer. The Hyperbusa killer, kill shot, is waiting on parts. So we are not a huge shop like HTP. We don't have the money to drop on multiple 5-axis machines to be able to make parts custom in-house. We don't have a staff of port and polish guys. We don't have everything to do for custom valve jobs and all that in-house, so we send it out. Downside to that, you got wait time. Upside to that, I don't have $1 million to have out there that I'm trying to recoup on all sorts of stuff. I know he's got, I believe, a Haas 5-axis. That's freaking $250,000 at least, set up and everything. And then he's got a nice valve machine, everything. So I don't have that. So that's the joys of it. I'm more of a realistic shop. He is a huge shop. But that's what we got going on. I think we're through the end of this video. Y'all have a beautiful day. I'm going to go to this damn gas station again.